I'm back. All right, let me finish Mark 7, man. This shit is just too good. Like I'm literally just connecting to shit that I know, and it's like it's in me. And when you read it, it's like, oh, I'm backed by some shit now, and I'm backed by some powerful shit that y'all like. Cause I've been attested to me not really reading the Bible, just being some shit that I know in the sense of absorbing from other people, and I wouldn't know like the actual scripts or anything like that. When you start pulling and you start showing people, bro, like I have so many Christian family members and so many friends and like period that's been around me. So I either you're gonna change or stay stuck in your ways in a sense, but I'm not giving you that option to rely on me no more because I'm showing you where I stand. So look, Mark 7. Let me see. I'm just gonna read to see where I want to start. Okay, this is good. One day, some of the Pharisees and the teachers of religion law arrived from Jerusalem to see Jesus. They noticed some of his disciples failed to follow their Jewish ritual of the hand washing before eating. This is very important to the vegans, to chemtrail people, to I was just talking about to people just that we're gonna get into it. The people that think weapons can prosper. This is right. This is right here. Right, what Dr.Sebi kind of. This is more for what Bobby Hemming to say versus what Dr.Sebi would say. And it's no disrespect. It's just straight honesty, and that's what it is. Like you stay stuck hooked on food, like you thinking that's a weapon. Let's get it. All right. One day, one of the okay, they seen him washing, failed to wash the hands. The disciple. Okay, I'm trying to get to where I left. The Jews, especially the Pharisees, do not eat until they pour water into their hands with a cup and as required by their ancient traditions. Similarly, they don't eat anything from the market until they immerse their hands in water. This is one but many traditions they had clung onto, such as their ceremonial washing of the cup, pitchers, and kettles. Fuck. It sounds dirty as hell, but shit's getting real. I talk about absorbing all poisons, and then you really going where you going. Like, bro, what can stop you? Nothing, because you've absorbed everything. But let's get into it, bro. I know it sounds crazy, but look, I'm here to talk about crazy shit. And Jesus was obviously too, because look, if it's in red, he said it. That's what they told me as a kid. I don't know if y'all can see it, but Mark 8:6. Jesus replied, "You hypocrites! Isaiah was right when he prophesied about you. For he wrote, these people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me." Facts, bro. Facts. they worship is farce. For they teach man-made ideas and commands of the. Oh, I'm sorry. For they teach man-made ideas as commands from God. For you ignore God's law to substitute your own tradition. Brother. No bullshit. You get like that. It's many examples. It's just like they said. There's many examples from how they wash the cups, pitcher, and kettles. Nigga, America substitute their culture. The black community substitute their culture. There's so many people that's trying to implement that culture, but not getting back to the culture of nature, which is the culture of God, which is the culture itself. But yeah, and understanding how powerful self is. And let's get back to it, because this shit really touches the soul. Because I used to whoop niggas' ass when they used to talk about my mama. And I really didn't give a fuck. But let's be peaceful, right? Let's just read. My nigga Jesus. Because I don't even care about people. I mean, my nigga, I'm going to just say my nigga Jesus, because I know he's just the energy. Mark 8:9. Then he said, "You skillfully step-sided God's law in order to hold on to your own traditions. For instance, Moses gave you the law from God, honor your father and mother, and anyone who speaks disrespectfully of your father and mother must be put to death." And you can go into the physical or you can go into the spiritual. Like, don't fuck with people that can't uphold your mom and your father, and that's your physical mom and your spiritual, like whatever you. If you're a God's child, bro, no representation of yourself should be disrespected, higher or physical, whatever you want to, spiritual or physical. I mean, and they say must be put to death. Now, if you think you gotta go kill people, if that's what it's called for, shit, I'm reading it right out of Jesus' mouth. And anyone who speaks disrespectfully of father or mother must be put to death. But you said it is right. I'm sorry, Mark 8:11. But you say it is all right for people to say their parents. I'm so sorry. But you say it is all right for people to say to their parents, sorry, I can't help you. For I vow to God what I would have given to you. In this way, you let them disregard the needy parents, and so you counsel the word of God in order to hand down your own tradition. And this is one of the examples of among many others. They're so wordy with how they talk, bro. It's annoying. Like it's like literally sometimes like all they need to do is like, what do you call? I guess it's not run-on sentences, but when you could just take away from certain things because you're kind of repeating yourself. Jesus called to the crowd to come here. All of you listen, and he said, "Try to understand. It's not what goes into your body that defiles you. You are defiled by what comes from the heart." And I talk about this. I talk about me getting sick, and it's not necessarily me changing because of like some shit that I thought of, like, vegan is cool or some shit, but I literally was getting sick, and this literally was probably from the energy that I was learning about. I was learning how animals was getting fucked up, so through time that shit wasn't vibing with my body. But like with fish and stuff, I haven't caught that same wave, so I still eat fish and I still maybe eat cheese and eggs and things like that, but that's because my heart says it's cool. But for other people, like Bobby Hemming and other people, they might still eat chicken and shit like that. But if your heart is good, you good. Like, we be trying to worry about saving this body, but that's not the problem. That's not what we're here to do. Honestly. And even if you were God, like what weapon should prosper? Then Jesus went into the house to get away from the crowd, and his disciples asked him what he meant by that parable that he just used. Don't you understand either? And this was kind of before, but like he been getting on his disciples' ass because like, bro, what are y'all like? But like I said, like I talk about, you got to teach your lower selves like they're kids. He had to teach these disciples like they were his kids, even though they's big ass grown adults. But I told you how I look at it. Like, these are really like the 12 zodiacs, and you're trying to be the holistic zodiac, which is 13, which is Jesus Christ, the 13th disciple. Don't you understand either? He asks. Can't you see the food you put into your body cannot defile you? Food doesn't go into your heart, but only passes through your stomach and go into the sewer. By saying this, he declared that every kind of food is acceptable in God's eyes. Because God created everything. This illusion is all through self. So the only thing that can defy you is the heart of yourself. And that goes into going against your faith, going against your purpose. It's your heart. It's your lack of faith. It's your lack of trust in yourself and believing in your path. And we've always at that point. But at some point, you got to wake up. And then this going to, the Gentile. I'm going to skip over her. I really don't even have to go into her again. Let's go and talk about the deaf man, though. See what they say. Jesus left Tyre and went up to the Sidon before going back to the Sea of Galilee and the regions of 10 towns. The deaf man with a speech impediment was brought to him, and the people begged Jesus to lay his hands on him to heal him. Jesus led him away from the crowd so they could be alone. He did what? He separated him. Like, come on, bro. And these things was told when they were told us as a kid, they was told in the most plainest form, in the sense of they didn't give us the deepest dive. So, and we weren't necessarily reading them, and like we ain't had an intellect yet. But like just reading this shit, like I said, looking at the spiritual and physical, like Jesus, they said they begged the man, but the man probably begged himself. Jesus led away from the crowd so they could be alone. So once he was alone, he was able to finally listen. That's pretty simple. He put his fingers in his man's ear and in the spit of his own finger, and he touched the man's tongue and looked up to heaven and said, Empada, which means be open. Instantly the man could hear perfectly and his tongue was free so he could speak plainly. And that's literally like, bro, he was probably scared of being judged and so many other things. And that's what happened to the disciples where they weren't going to stand with Jesus. And Jesus said they weren't going to be able to stand with him because the masses was going to go against him and they weren't going to want to go against the masses. So they was going to look, they pretty much was going to cower. And that's because they wanted to save their humanity instead of fighting for what they believe in. But like I said, we're going to get into Mark a little. We're going to be in Mark all day. And just to break it down, shit, like I talk about experiences, if we look at Mark, that's like taking down a score or taking like a tally mark. Like each one of these fucking chapters, each one of these fucking verses, bro, are a different time and a different mark and a different experience in Jesus' life. And well, how many marks was it? Was it 14 marks? And this go into numerology and it go into other things. Like he had to keep like going through experiences and keep realizing how humanity wasn't going to change. And that's when he started realizing about his death and all these other different things. And we're going to get into it. And I mean, I already talked about it a little bit then, but they talk about it more. And let me finish reading. Jesus told the crowd not to tell anyone, but the more he told them not to, the more they spread the news. And that just go to like, that's just humanity. That's just this world. Like when you're trying to avoid something, like it's gonna come, point blank, period. And he knew the world he was in, so I mean, he was trying to keep it quiet, but it wasn't no way to do it because he was already doing the work. And at one point, like your light gonna be shining so bright, people gonna naturally try to follow you in a sense. And that's literally what was happening. They were completely amazed and said again and again, everything he was doing, everything he does is wonderful. He even makes the deaf to hear and give speech to those who cannot speak. Well, yeah. I think I'm going to end it there. Let me see what you're saying. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it there and probably just keep reading. And I just wanted to get into Mark, bro. I felt like I had to throw it out there, man. I'm not about to sit on it. Like it was irking my soul. As I kept reading, I was just like, I gotta make a video. But I'm out, guys. Deuces.